Welcome to the Monetize Your Payments podcast, where we cover the entire payment facilitator ecosystem. If you are a SaaS company, ISV, or a marketplace interested in monetizing your payments, this podcast is for you. You will learn what it takes to monetize your payments, as well as find the vendors, suppliers, and organizations that will help you succeed. You are going to hear success stories, lessons learned, and advice from all sides and all angles across the payment facilitator ecosystem.
Do we consider ourselves a payments company? I'd say that ResMan is first and foremost, we're a leading property management SaaS platform provider with native embedded payment capabilities, which is what the multifamily industry needs. So we are a software company with payments embedded within it. We're on the edge of fintech, I could say.
This is episode 10 of the Monetize Your Payments podcast, and that was Paul Bridgewater, the CEO of ResMan. I'm your host, Greg Myers, and Paul is our special guest this week. Paul lives in the Washington, D.C. area, while the company is based in Plano, Texas. Paul has been in the U.S. for 14 years and is originally from the U.K. He spent many years in payments both in the U.S. and in the U.K. He's been the CEO at ResMan since the beginning of 2019. ResMan is a property management platform for property management companies in the multifamily industry. From marketing services to website services, handling the leasing and application process, basically every aspect of running a property management company, including, of course, payments. ResMan has built payments into the application and rent payment flows, so it is embedded into the software, which creates a seamless process and experience for both the renters and the property management company. According to Paul, improved end customer experience, increased revenue, and better customer experience all leads to a better valuation for ResMan as a company. We've got a great conversation with Paul today, so let's jump right in. This is episode 10 of the Monetize Your Payments podcast, and that was Paul Bridgewater, the CEO of ResMan. I'm your host, Greg Myers, and Paul is our special guest this week. Paul lives in the Washington, D.C. area, while the company is based in Plano, Texas. Paul has been in the U.S. for 14 years and is originally from the U.K. He spent many years in payments both in the U.S. and in the U.K. He's been the CEO at ResMan since the beginning of 2019. ResMan is a property management platform for property management companies in the multifamily industry. From marketing services to website services, handling the leasing and application process, basically every aspect of running a property management company, including, of course, payments. ResMan has built payments into the application and rent payment flows, so it is embedded into the software, which creates a seamless process and experience for both the renters and the property management company. According to Paul, improved end customer experience, increased revenue, and better customer experience all leads to a better valuation for ResMan as a company. We've got a great conversation with Paul today, so let's jump right in. Hi, Paul, and welcome to the Monetize Your Payments podcast. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Hey, Greg, it's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, me too. So let's dive in. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself, maybe where you grew up, where you went to school, where you currently live, a few things like that.
So I'm Paul Bridgewater. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of ResMan. We're a property management platform, and we provide property management software services to property management companies. I currently live in the US. I'm based out of Washington, D.C., or the Virginia area. The company's based out in Plano. Been in the US now for coming up around about 14 years. Originally from the UK, as you can probably tell from the accent. Spent many, many years working payments, both in the UK, across Europe, and then in the US. Joined ResMan right at the very beginning of 2019.
And as you mentioned today, you're the CEO there. So can you talk a little bit about your journey and how you got to that role of CEO?
Yeah, sure. So my first CEO role was in 2015 when I joined a company called Sage Software. So Sage is an accounting platform based out of the UK, but have a very large presence here in the US. And I joined them to run and be the CEO of their payment processing subsidiary. So payment services in accounting software. So you can probably tell there's a little bit of a theme based upon what we're talking about today. And I spent a few years at Sage. And then we were fortunate to spin that company out to private equity. And that really got me into the private equity world. Mainsail Partners, our private equity partner at ResMan, reached out to me and asked me if I would like to take ResMan forwards and continue to grow the company from where it was into where we are today.
So let's talk about the company a little bit. Maybe tell the audience a little more about what ResMan does.
Yeah, so we're a property management platform. So what we do is we provide software services and the software platform for property management companies in the multifamily industry to be able to operate and manage those properties. So all the way from the marketing services that they need to be able to market the apartments and the units that are available within the communities to prospect residents. So there's website services involved there, and touring and tour scheduling and apartment selection, etc. And then we also provide services that enable the leasing process to happen. So the contractual relationship between a resident and the property once they've decided on a unit that they would like to live in or to rent. There's an application process. There's a screening process to ensure that that resident is fit for that particular community. So, and then all the way through to move in. So we provide all of those services, and we call that ResMan marketing. And then there's ResMan operations, which is the underlying software platform that enables our customers to manage those properties on a day-to-day basis. So communication with residents, maintenance issues, reservations for amenities like the gym and meeting rooms, etc. Payments on a monthly basis with regards to the rent payments, insurance, etc. And the communication of anything that is happening in the community at that particular time. And then the accounting platform itself. So all of the underlying financial and accounting requirements that property managers need is also within our platform. So it really is a soup to nuts, all the way from we're looking for a prospect renter to rent a unit or an apartment in a apartment complex, all the way through to we're now able to report and provide all of the fiscal reporting out to the investors and out to the actual property owners themselves. So we've been doing this for over 10 years now. We started in a property management company. So we had a very, very unique view right from day one of how a property management company needs to operate their software. So the software was essentially built from the ground up through the eyes of a property management company. And therefore, that's why we relate so well into the industry that we serve. We basically serve three core verticals within multifamily. The conventional type apartments, so the type of apartment, Greg, that you and I would perhaps go rent. We then do affordable, which is government and state subsidized apartments for low-income individuals. And that, as you can probably imagine, them being federal or state-run programs, very heavy from a compliance and regulatory perspective. So we do a lot there. And then also mid-market commercial as well. So floor space, square footage within commercial buildings. We're around about 130 employees now. We don't release information with regards to revenues or units under management. We see ourselves as being one of the top 5 property management software companies now in the US.
Well, as the name of this podcast indicates, we're going to focus mainly on the payment side of your business. So let's dive into that part if you don't mind. Let's just start at the beginning. Talk about payments and what you do to help your customers with payments.
Yeah, sure. Great question. So we basically help our customers process payments from, as I mentioned, prospects or residents in a community. And those payments could be application fees. So, I'm a resident or I'm a prospect. I want to live in a unit or live in an apartment within a multi-family community. So there's an application fee to process my application for acceptance into that community. So they're like one-time payments at the time of the application process. There are security deposits that maybe need to be processed and put down when I rent an apartment. And then there's the rent payments itself. So that's typically a monthly payment that's made by the resident to the property for living in one of their apartments or one of their units. There's also one-time fees that are processed on a regular basis for amenities. There are like pet fees or ancillary services that properties may well charge for, like a parking space or a garage space or trash removal, things like that. All of those events or needs all at some point in time create the need for a transaction. So the most significant benefits of ResMan Payments that we see is it's a native feature now within our property management platform. So what that means is we've actually built it into the application, into the leasing and the rent payment flows, and it's embedded within our software. So it really provides a consistent experience for the resident and the property manager when they interact with each other to collect that payment and create that as a seamless process. We also have a resident portal. So this is a feature or a function that a resident logs into. They're able to review their balances, what payments are due, what payments they need to make. And within that portal, they're able to actually make one-time payments or set up recurring payments to ensure that their balances are accurately paid on time. And then in addition to that, because we are the accounting platform that I mentioned earlier, we are the system of record for these properties, payment traction and reconciliation reporting is built directly in real time into the platform. So there's no kind of keeping receipts or payment information in shoe boxes under the desk until you need to reconcile on a monthly basis. It's all there within the platform. It's all real time, and the platform knows exactly when payments are being made and how to reconcile and how to treat them. So it's a completely embedded native experience for payment processing within our overall platform. So it's kind of like a feature or a function.
So obviously the rest of the software is vitally important, but how important would you say payments is to your overall business?
Well, payments, we've always managed payments within ResMan, but what we've typically done is we've typically done that with a third party. Whenever you integrate a third party, it creates what I term as like a clunky experience. There's a different set of contracts that need to be signed. There's a different support model that needs to be operated. Different billing cycles or different billing points or invoices that come from third parties, etc. So the ability to embed that all within our software is really taking it to the next step and providing both our customers, the property management companies, with a seamless experience and the ability to manage and see payments within their core accounting and their core property management platform versus having to go somewhere else and look into maybe a different portal elsewhere. We see it's a ton of value for the property management company, our customer, but also for the resident. It ensures that the resident has a experience that they trust because now they're making a payment or they're setting up a payment with the community or with the property where they actually live versus some third-party payment solution that they really don't know anything about.
Well, now that you've embedded the payments into your software, would you consider yourself a payments company now?
Yeah, great question. Payments and payment processing are key to our business, as I mentioned, because our customers want more of a vertical solution to manage their properties. They're really looking for all features and functions they need on a day-by-day basis, all within one single platform. I think that they don't want to operate those separate solutions for resident applications and leasing and property accounting, etc. So by providing that full stack solution in a single platform, we then do become the partner from a payments perspective for our customers, and therefore we're able to manage multiple solutions and multiple payment options all within platform. So really to sort of circle back on your question, do we consider ourselves a payments company? I'd say that ResMan is first and foremost, we're a leading property management SaaS platform provider with native embedded payment capabilities, which is what the multifamily industry needs. So we are a software company with payments embedded within it. We're on the edge of fintech, I could say.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it. Let's talk a little bit about specifically how you integrated it. And the first question is really, why did you make the decision to do it and not just outsource it or use a third party? I know you've talked a little bit about it already, but maybe can you go deeper as to why that business decision was made?
As I mentioned earlier, we've historically partnered with third-party payment companies that operate specifically within the multifamily industry. And we still support them, right? We still support those integrations, and we have a significant number of customers that utilize those third-party companies still, and customers who want to leverage those relationships versus what we offer from a native perspective. However, what we've seen, Greg, is a trend with our clients to want more of that native experience within ResMan, and not just payments, for other features, functions, and capabilities that the multifamily industry needs. We're bringing, we believe, faster onboarding, this single solution within a single SaaS subscription that includes their payment processing fees. So we're effectively embedding the fees for these services into the core subscriptions fees that they use to access and manage these properties and units on the platform. That's why we decided to build ResMan Payments directly within ResMan. Of course, our underlying technology partner is Payrix. They're a great PayFac partner. And that really made it straightforward and reasonably painless to move forwards and create and implement payments. Utilizing Payrix, we were able to use their available APIs. We were able to integrate those APIs to support one-time and recurring payments and embed those APIs into our workflows within the platform. Our solution also utilizes a secure connection and payment tokenization. So everything is secure and compliant from a PCI perspective. And it also complies with the NACHA for the ACH payments that we also offer within the platform. So, all in all, the PayFac providers and the PayFac solutions in the marketplace today, like Payrix, really did give us a reasonably fast way to be able to bring great functionality that's typically or has been historically complicated to add, to be able to put it into our platform in a really smooth way.
Do you feel like it was more of a customer demand, or the customer drove you to make this decision versus maybe the economics? I mean, which one sort of weighed more in the decision making?
Yeah, I'd say all of those really. First and foremost, we listened to our customers, right? And what they wanted in a property management platform, they clearly told us that they desired payments as a core feature of the ResMan platform, and therefore could eliminate those third-party contracts, those third-party relationships, and that extra back-office billing cycles and invoicing that you get when you work with multiple providers. We also saw very clearly a material opportunity for ResMan to increase what we call our revenue per unit. So the way that we manage our subscriptions within this industry is we charge a monthly fee for accessing our platform and all of the functionality within the platform based upon each unit. So each apartment essentially within a building or within a complex or within a community that uses our software. So what we're able to do is we're able to embed the payment processing costs and fees into that revenue per unit, again, to make it seamless. So really what's happening is our customers are seeing a shift of wallet. They're not seeing incremental spend with regards to their operating costs. They're just seeing that instead of spending it with that third party, they're now spending it with ResMan. And we think that that creates a more efficient solution that fits their needs all around. And, with that opportunity, of course, we realize increased revenue from monetizing payments within our SaaS platform. And we also realize that that will have a positive impact on the valuation of our company as we start to see a higher percentage of our revenue starting to come from the payment functionality and the payment capabilities, in addition to our core subscription services that we offer. Improved customer experience, increased revenue on our side, better experience for our customers, all adds to increased valuation for ResMan as a company.
Sure. And there's a lot of details, as you know, having been in payments is, on the back end, there's a lot of things that you really have to make sure you get right, from legal agreements to managing risk, whether that's the payment risk or reputation risk. And you mentioned it already, there's security issues and PCI compliance and obviously fraud, which I don't think is probably a huge issue in your market, but it might be. How are all those things managed during this whole process of embedding it into your solution?
First of all, with great sensitivity, being a payments person for many, many years, or in the payments industry for many, many years, we take those very, very seriously. All critical issues that were part of us deciding to invest in a payment solution within our platform, as you can imagine, we had to think about everything from how we handle merchant onboarding, which is our property management company customer, from KYC to underwriting and risk management, were all considered as we made these investments and as we took these steps. In addition to that, we had to think about security and compliance, as you mentioned, and PCI for the card brands, as well as from a NACHA perspective with ACH. But fortunately, all of that our partner Payrix was able to help us with. And it was a key point of deciding to utilize Payrix and partner with Payrix to deliver these services because of the experience they have within the industry to deliver and embed these legal requirements and these legal and these security risk mitigators within the overall platform. But you've also got to bear in mind, Greg, we're very, very lucky. Our management team at ResMan has over 40 plus years of experience in the industry and working for companies like Citibank and TCS and WorldPay and PayPal and MoneyGram. So we bring a significant amount of knowledge, but also a significant amount of respect for how a payment solution and payment services need to be done correctly and with a lot of thought. That experience helped us to design and manage our payments business at ResMan, and we believe and we know meets the scrutiny of the payments industry, and we can deliver that to our clients with confidence. What we also did was we decided to not just move forward and release our payments functionality, in general availability. We decided to take it slowly, take it carefully. So we did a beta period from October 2020 through to February 21, processing payments for select customers and really ensuring that we were watching and monitoring the results. And fortunately, the results exceeded our expectations, so we were able to go ahead and make it generally available within the platform. I think the most painful part, though, of integrating payments is probably just then looking at additional payment methods and flows like check payments and cash payments and even Lockbox. And all of these areas that we need to continue now to add into our payment solution, because these are payment methods that our customers need based upon their residence requirements. So adding payment methods is going to take us time. We're going to continue to beta those payment methods through 2021. We've got a really, really robust roadmap to roll these out over the coming months. And I think towards the end of the year, we will have a very, very strong suite of the majority of payment options that we understand and we believe are required from our customers. But, saying all of that, Greg, we've taken probably the least painful path to launching ResMan Payments by focusing on the majority of payments that happen within the property management industry, which are ACH and bank cards. So that's where we started. That challenge now is to add as quickly as we can the other payment methods that are required from our customers.
You mentioned something earlier I wanted to ask about, and you still have, and I think a lot of SaaS companies are seeing this, they have a percentage of customers who don't necessarily want to move over to your payment solution. And I think that's always a challenge, is that portfolio conversion, as maybe is the right words. I don't know if that's the right words, but how do you get those customers over? I mean, do you have a concerted effort to reach out and try to convince them to come over, or is it more just a natural type thing that you feel like will happen over time?
I think it's both. There's obviously going to be a natural shift of existing customers from existing payment partners over to ResMan. But I think what we're doing is we are not just stopping at payments. We have other solutions and other products, for instance, like a product called Credit Builder that enables us to, every time a resident makes a payment for their rent on a monthly basis, we actually go ahead and report that to the credit bureaus to improve the residents' credit scores. There are products that we also have, like insurance, for instance. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to bundle or to combine payment processing with our payment portal, with our insurance product, with our credit builder, credit score reporting product, and really make it a compelling set of solutions versus just a standalone payments product. And that's the approach that we're taking.
And then you mentioned your pricing. Was there a specific strategy that you went into thinking about from a pricing perspective, or was it always just pretty obvious that it would be bundled into your SaaS fees?
That's a good question. I think certain payment options and certain payment methods require different strategies. So, for instance, ACH, because of the cost structure of ACH, we have the ability to, for instance, offer a unlimited ACH service for units, and that's embedded into a monthly subscription fee. But for instance, like credit cards and debit cards, you've got interchange and processing fees, which vary based upon which card is used. So that would be a subscription plus a transaction fee. So we've got various different methods and ways that we charge for the processing fees that we're offering. But the key here is to try and make it as simple and as straightforward as possible for our customers to understand and be able to operate. Because if we can make it simple for our customers, they can make it simple for their customers, the residents.
Well, Paul, we've covered a lot of ground so far on obviously the company itself and on your background, and then obviously embedded payments. Is there anything else that you would like to share related to what you've done in the payments world, or anything related to ResMan that you'd like to share?
I think it's just the start, of a very exciting journey as we think about embedding more and more financial services or financial offerings within the ResMan platform. We've got a very captive audience with regards to residents that interact with our platform because our customers have chosen ResMan as their platform and as their software technology provider. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to start to think about how we can bring other financial services to those residents over the coming months and the coming years. I've mentioned a couple with regards to the credit reporting and the insurance. I think it's also important to understand who your customer's customer is. And I mentioned earlier about that we're in the affordable space as well. So that's low-income family subsidized housing by federal and state rent programs. Obviously, you've got to know who your customer's customer is. And low-income families typically use different payment options and have different payment facilities available to them than high-income or high-net-worth individuals. The introduction of money orders and certified funds and cash payments, we have to think about all of those as we continue to build out our payment strategy. And we're looking forward to continue to do that in the coming months and the coming years. It would be great to check back in with you maybe towards the end of the year and give you a progress update.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate all your insights and sharing everything you did about embedded payments. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Great. Thanks, Greg. Really appreciate you having me.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Monetize Your Payments podcast. Make sure you visit our website at monetizeyourpayments.com, where you can subscribe to the show and where you will find our show notes. If you would like to be on the show or have a suggestion for a guest, please email greg@monetizeyourpayments.com.